Hi, Don. Can you help me out here and tell me if you can see me and hear me? I'm also going to put it on the chat room here. Okay, Don, I'm just taking some of these contest questions here. So for okay, Don, let's see who else came on here. All right, we got Mary Hansmeyer and Andy Prashad. Okay, thank you, Andy. Andy sent in his questions for the $100 Visa gift card, which we're waiting for one or two more to join here, then we could start the presentation. Mary, can you hear me okay and see me? Can you type in the chat box, Mary? Oh boy, where'd this go? There we go. All right, what happened to my chat room here? Just trying to do some clicking here. Hold on one second, please. There we go. Okay, Mary can hear me. And I assume everybody else can. Okay, well, let's get started. I'm sorry, I see one more logging in now. Hold on a second, please. Okay, if anybody has any questions during the presentation, you could ask them in the chat box, or we can wait. If you have a microphone, we could do it at the end, and we'll get your questions answered. So let's get going here. Good morning. My name is Albert Clark, and I am the creator of Home Actions, and I've been doing this for about 19 years. Happens to be 19 years ago, I built the first ever electronic newsletter when I was with a company called eNeighborhoods. Some of you may remember that. And been stuck in this business ever since, because everywhere I go, agents are doing a terrible job of staying in touch. They're leaving money on the table because we know real estate's a numbers game. So with more consistent outreach, better relationship building, it's in for the long haul, the better our numbers are going to be. Now, Andy, I think you're the only one that filled out the quiz. So as of now, or until somebody else jumps on, I've got your answers here. But let's go through these questions. Everyone an agent knows, what's the percentage that will visit the agent's website? Andy, you had 10% and it's 5%, so I'm going to give you that one because you're very close. Number two, what percentage of consumers ever use the same realtor? Okay, so the average repeat business rate for realtors is 23%. Gary, you had 2%, or Andy, you had 65%. So I can't give you that one. Number 3, what percentage of consumers like working with the realtor the last time and said they'd gladly use the realtor again? The answer is 86. Andy, you had 80, so you get that one. That's pretty good. 86% of consumers said their agent did a great job on the last transaction and would be willing to work with that agent again. So why doesn't everybody work with that agent, right? What, if they said you did a good job, why didn't they call you? And you know what the answers are. Number 4, what percentage, excuse me, what percentage of clients who bought or sold with an agent 2 years ago can quickly remember the agent's name? And that happens to be 24%. Okay, so that means 76% are having a tough time coming up with your name 2 years after a transaction. Ask them who their doctor is, they get it. Who changes the oil in their car? 5 seconds, they come up with the name. Who's your realtor? Eventually they get it. But what we're trying to do here with this project is to keep you top of mind with all your prospects, friends, clients, everybody, neighbors in this social media environment. So what's the best day of week? You didn't, Andy, you didn't put every day. Every day can't be the best day. Happens to be Tuesday morning at 5:30 to 6:30 in the morning. And that's when we find out that a lot of people are opening up these newsletters, because when the alarm clock goes off in the average American home, we all know what happens. We all do it ourselves. Grab for the phone and see what happened the last 6 hours that you've been asleep. So what we're finding out is that consumers then grab your name and they save it in their inbox and they save the subject line. And every time they go up and down their email, like we do 500 times a day, your name and your subject line is going to be there. So what we do for agents, let's go to this next slide. What we do for agents is we help them get organized. 9 out of 10 agents don't have a clean, reliable database, okay? And when you ask them where their database is, they say, sure, I have one, but it's in Gmail, it's in the iCloud, Hotmail, it's in my MLS, it's all over the place. That's not a database. So what we do for you on day 1 is go into all these locations right here, and as well as others, and export all your contacts and clean them up. So we're very good at going in, exporting, cleaning up, taking the duplicates out and everything else. Then what we're going to do is provide engaging content every 2 weeks to everyone that's enrolled exclusively in your program. What I mean by that is email addresses that we put in the system for you can only be used once. And that's for the agent that puts that in first. So there's a first mover advantage here. So again, we help you with engaging content. Then with our predictive metrics, we help you focus on the segment of your database that's warming up for a transaction. Okay, so we know what consumers are opening, clicking, sharing. We send out about 6 million emails every month. And then finally, preventing defection to portals. You know your biggest competitor coming down the road is Zillow, okay? They weren't going to get into real estate. They got into real estate. They weren't going to get into mortgages. They bought 4 mortgage companies, okay? So if we can find out the reasons why people run to Zillow and never come back to the agent's website, we could help you with that defection. So I fly all over the country and I ask agents why you can't do the best possible job of staying in touch. And what they come back with is, Al, I have a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but I don't have the whole thing. So this is our 5-prong approach: building you a database, getting into a pipeline that's going to help you down the road, nurture that pipeline, give you intelligence on what's going on inside of your database, and then protecting it. We already talked about that. Email addresses, only used once in our system. So here's Tom Simonson, who's been using our service for probably 6 or 7 years, I think. This is just the top part of his newsletter. It goes out consistently to his, I think, his 2,000 contacts every 2 weeks for the last 7 years, okay? So everybody is used to seeing Tom. Everybody knows how to get a hold of Tom because he's in the inbox every 2 weeks. So that consistent value getting delivered is what we're talking about today. Now, in every edition of your newsletter, there's about 8 or 9 articles. We put them in. You don't ever have to do anything with this program. And as you can see, Tom didn't put any personal content in here. But unless you take a look at one of our predictive articles, like that article on the right, is it true you need 20% down payment for a home these days and have to have perfect credit? Well, we all know you don't have to. So the idea is, let's dispel these myths and let's use this as a trigger article. And what a trigger article is the ability to send you a text or an email as soon as that article's open. And you'd say, well, why do I care? Well, somebody's trying to find down payment money, or else you wouldn't be reading that article. Okay. I mean, you might be reading it, but a majority of the people that open and click on that are going to be interested in finding down payment money. Now, boy, wouldn't you want to talk to 20 people that are trying to find down payment money? As soon as that article gets open, you get clicked on that. Then we have the, hey, Tom, how's the market? Okay, so what we do is we go into your Association of Realtors up there, and they provide market reports every month for 200 Twin Cities. So when you click on Tom's Q&A article and you click on your zip code, up is going to come this professionally written, nice looking report. And this gets updated every month automatically. Okay, so if you've got data, we know that hyperlocal data works well in building these relationships. So no matter what zip code your people are in or what city, up to 200 of them, they would click on this and go right to that report. Now, are they researching behind your back? Right now, we know that a lot of consumers are researching behind your back. So for every 100 contacts you have, 15% of those 100 are in some stage of warming up. But you really don't know, with other services, you don't know who the 15% is. We're going to tell you that because we know the 15 that opened this, clicked that, shared that, downloaded that, tracking all their activities so you can see their engagement level, okay? So we're going to help you with that 15%. Here's another predictive article. Did you know that 7 out of 10 homeowning families that you know have no idea how much equity they have in their home? And you'd say again, well, why do I care? Well, when you read an article like this, you're interested in finding out how much home equity you have. So they know it's good, but they don't know how much. So what we do is we drop them on your Contact Me page, your CMA request page, wherever you want them to go. Now, again, wouldn't you want to talk to 20 people who are trying to find the value of their house, right? So turn on some CMAs. That's what we're all about here, is creating these conversation starters, not necessarily hot leads, but conversation starters, a reason to pick up the phone or fire off a text or an email to somebody, letting them know that you can help them. Because you just found out a little while ago they're interested in this topic. Now, here's another article that's very, very predictive. It's our most widely clicked article. And it's called What's Sold Down the Street. So what's going to happen here is the average agent gives us 10 zip codes. Tom gives us, I think, 8 or 9. And what we do is we go into Tom's RPR and we pulled out what's sold from last night, going back 3 months. Then we throw some average sales stats in there and listing information. And then we merge this report into the blue button there you see on Tom's newsletter. Now, of course, as soon as somebody opens this page, Tom's going to get a text or an email. Studies show that 40% of the consumers that are clicking on this kind of information are researching, warming up, maybe quietly, maybe, in the next month or 2 or 3, they'll ramp it up. But you know what they asked for. You know what was delivered, okay? And again, conversation starters. Because we use all this type of content as a generator of interest from your readership every 2 weeks. I have my editors track everything that's going on here. And we report it. We make you look like you're an advocate, because there's nobody else concerned this deeply for consumers. And all they really need is to get into your database is an email address. And we'll talk about that later on. We already went over email exclusivity. Now I'm going to see if we can ask if anybody's got any questions yet. Come on, where's our questions? There we go. How many zip codes can you have, Andy? 10 or 12 up to 15. Don't give us 100, because I'm sure you don't cover 100 zip codes. So, and you could switch them out every couple of weeks. And what's really nice is you tell consumers, if your zip code's not here, check back with us next edition of the newsletter and we'll get it for you. Wouldn't it be great to have readers or past clients, prospects, friends, whatever, say, hey, Andy, give me 64325. That's what we'll do. Okay, keep typing those questions in the box if you want. Okay, so extensive metrics. Here's where we differ from everybody else. Most organizations that you can do email marketing with, they'll tell you send out 320 newsletters, right? And maybe 14% open rate. We're going to dig into every stat you could possibly imagine and tell you what's going on here. So for this agent, we sent out 1,336 emails, 615 unique opens. That means they opened it at least once. But you see this number to the right here, 1,016? That is the total opens. So what happens is half of your readers will open your newsletter multiple times. On today, some of them, tomorrow, next week. I don't really care when it is. I know they're saving your name and the subject line in their inbox. So you're getting impression, impression, impression. Okay, that's what we're all about, building top of mind awareness through these valuable impressions. Over on the right, you'll see some more stats. And then this page is what we really want you to look at after your newsletter launches. Literally, as soon as your newsletter launches, we could set these alerts up on your phone, and your phone goes ding, ding, ding. That's somebody clicking on our predictive articles that we set the alert on. Now, you may not want an alert on every article because your phone will be going berserk. So look at the second red arrow here. 28 people so far since we pulled this report, this was probably 6 months ago. 28 people wanted to know what sold down the street in the last 15 minutes. So we told them that. If you want to click on the word who, we're going to tell you who wanted what information and when they got it. Okay, so we track everything that's going on inside the system. We also have a great referral system, right? Many agents are afraid to ask for business from their friends, believe it or not. So we make the simple solution here is to make sure that everybody in your sphere of influence gets your home actions. And when they respond to our articles, we ask them to vote on every article they read. Not everybody sends this in, but a fair number do. And when they send it in, see this fourth box down here? Do you know somebody thinking about buying or selling a home? There's the referral engine. People are happily, able to refer you if it's easy to do, right? So all they got to do is click on that box, and then you call them back and you say, hey, Jim, you got some referral business for me? Appreciate it. That's how I operate my business. It's, throw the spin on there, okay? So we know about 17% of the time when these forms get filled out and sent back to the agent, that box is checked yes. So what I'm going to guarantee you is in the first 4 launches of your newsletter, you're going to get some referral business simply because you're asking for it in a soft-mannered way, okay? This is the kind of money we could potentially put in your pocket. If everybody, that you said you did a great job in the last deal referred you for another deal, that'd be pretty good. Now, depending on what database you're using, I don't know if you're using KV Core, Sync, what else you have up there maybe, but we're able to export out of that CRM into Home Actions, and we're able to take everything in Home Actions and put it in your CRM, okay? So you have a synchronized database, so everybody's getting nurtured. We can talk about that later on in the Q&A. So, brokerage exclusivity. My deal with Nick was this. Hey, Nick, we won't sell this to anybody else in your footprint. Okay, well, what does that mean? Well, down the street, I'm sure you've got RE/MAX, you've got Keller Williams, you've got Edina, you've got Coldwell Banker Burnett, right? They're not going to be able to get their hands on this program because our relationship, we just signed some deals that said, hey, we're going to make sure that you guys can't get this. And then when our predictive metrics, our new lead scoring system jumps up, we're going to show you that one too, okay? We have that in a couple slides. So all these offices and all these agents will get this can have access to this cool program, and nobody else is going to get it. Why? Because those email addresses that you guys put in first are going to get locked up. So Keller Williams can't get anybody in their system, or Edina or Coldwell Banker. Now, defecting to your competition. We all know these are the reasons why people run to Zillow and never come back to the agent's website. So what we did was we sat down and we said, well, maybe we can slow down the defection rate, or maybe we can keep everybody in the agent's marketing pool because we have all this great content that Zillow also has. So what we did was we built this widget, and this widget is called the Neighborhood 360 widget. It's in every newsletter we send out. You don't have to put it in there, but it's highly, quote, contagious. I shouldn't use that word today. But anyway, it's highly predictable because somebody's going to spend about 4.5 minutes investigating your listing, their house, grandma's house in Kansas City, whatever. Your reader will be able to pull up deep data on 150 million street addresses, okay? There aren't any more than that. Every street address in the country is in this widget. This widget you could also put on your Facebook, on your blog, on your website, give it away, put it in an email. It's a really cool tool that you will give your clients, prospects, and friends. So here's a random house that we took in Lake Elmo, Minnesota. And so I pre-programmed a report here. Let's see where it is. Where's my report? Okay, hold off a second here. We're going back to here. We're going back to here. I'm going to pull it up a different way. I pulled up a different report. So hold on, Control A, Control C. Be with you one second here, guys. All right, there's our report. Oh. All right, now we're going back to new share. And let's see where my report is. Show all windows. I have too many windows open here. Hold on, please. Okay, here we go. This is just a different report, but suffice to say that that house we looked at was 4516 Morningwood Drive. So we give the consumer information on the neighborhood. Then we go down to a map of where the property is, building, single family, built in the 70s, cost of living information to move from anywhere in the country to here. So relatively speaking, how much more expensive is it to live in this neighborhood than another neighborhood? Then we have income levels in the neighborhood, rent versus own, tax information, recent sales nearby. Now, these aren't comps. These are just all solds by all brokerages. Everybody wants to know what's sold down the street. If you remember, I told you that a few slides ago. And then we get the transportation. How does everybody get to work? What time do they have to leave to get to work? Where are the traffic jams? Commute times, information on all the schools, rankings of the schools, okay? We don't tell them which school they're gonna go to. We just tell them, click on these blue buttons and you'll find out more information about that school and where your child will go. Then we have the life section here. Everybody wants a deep data dive on how cool the neighborhoods are, right? What's around here? So with the help of Yelp, we built this Yelp-inspired amenity section. So where are we gonna go for happy hour? New restaurants that opened up versus existing restaurants, all within 3-mile radius of any address anywhere in the country. Stores that just opened up, all those existing stores, coffee shops and donut shops. Let's go back here. Where do we go? Go back. Places to work out. Then we've got places to get your hair done, your fingernails done, your tattoos removed. Finally, let's go back and look at places to wag, right? We all know that half of your clients love pets. You may not love pets, that's okay. But you're showing a great concern here for the pet lovers that are in your client base. Because we know where all the Petco stores are, the dog walkers, we know where the veterinarian hospitals are, okay? And this is in radius to any address anywhere in the country, okay? Let's see if anybody's got a question about this report. Where'd it go? Let's go back here. All right. Okay, Andy, your question here. Hold on a second. Let me move this. I've been in the business for 25 years. I hate to admit it. I don't have an email for some of my clients. Andy, we'll figure out a way that you can text them or call them, and then we send them a link to your newsletter sign-up page. There's a couple different ways that we can actually get more people to sign up for your newsletter. We could talk about that offline. Any other questions here yet? No. Okay, so let's go back to wind up the presentation here. We already went through that. That was an example. This is the kind of email you'll get after somebody requests this report. So your phone's going to go ding, and you're going to see this email, and we're going to tell you who in your database, when, wanted what kind of report on what address. And you see they have to tell us why they want the data. They're thinking about selling it. It's their home. So they're spilling their beans here through all these emails and throughout all these impressions, and you're able to hopefully, you know, jump on that conversation starter because something's going on in their life. Now, also we have the Neighborhood Navigator, Tell Me What My House Is Worth. This is the CoreLogic AVM, automated valuation model. There isn't a better lead generating source than this. Here's somebody in your database that actually says, hey, can you tell me what my house is worth? Now, you may have one of these buttons, home value on your website, but we know that you're not getting a lot of hits on your website. But if it's in every newsletter you send out to 822 people every 2 weeks, somebody's going to be banging on this every 2 weeks. We know that. You'll see the stats too. So we give them a little value range. They have to tell us why they want the report. Of course, you see that. And then you work your magic with CMAs. Okay? Now, we could also build you flyers. As soon as you get a listing, you can send us the MLS ID, some pertinent details, and then we'll build a flyer like this and push it out to everybody in your database or some people in your database, okay? So we're able to email your client base in between the newsletters. It's a service called On Target. So at 24/7 around the clock, we could build flyers and push them out to anybody or everybody in your database. And of course, we'll give you the link so you could put that flyer on your social media or anywhere else. So one question I always get at this time is, Al, how many houses will I sell if I buy your program? And I'll say, this is not like your typical, magazine or chicken pot pie recipe program you have. The way you can see value in our system comes from 7 or 8 different sources, okay? So I'm not going to tell you you're going to sell 3 more houses this year. I want you to sell just 1 more because of my system, with pays for the system. But secondly, we want to set you up for future business capabilities and opportunities by looking at all these return on investments, okay? So I can come up with probably 8 more too. But just being in front of people is much more than the average agent is doing right now. And that's why Nick will, back this up. Tom Simonson has been using this for years. I'll back it up. Home Actions is that, soft way to build a pipeline, to nurture it, and get more value out of it down the road. Now, in summation, we know what to send. We know when to send it. We know how to send it. We're helping you with everything. So this can be a set it and forget it program. And many agents on the call might say, well, I'm not very high tech. Well, if you spell computer with a K, you can make this thing work for you. I'm going to take you under my wing as president of the company. Why? Because I don't need you going back to Nick or Tom Simonson and say, hey, that guy from Pennsylvania ripped us off, that system. That doesn't happen. I've got a contract with Nick that says we're going to treat you guys better. You're going to get better pricing. And we're going to make sure that nobody down the street gets this, but a counselor, broker, or owner, agent, whatever you want to call them. Okay, now, this new program we're working on is called Lead Scoring. You guys will have infinitely a fun time with this because I'm going to tell you who in your database has been using their email address on predictive databases, predictive websites, okay? Who shopped on diapers.com last time for the first time? Let me, on this page here. Who has a dumpster in their driveway? Literally, we know who has a dumpster in their driveway right now. Now that tells you 2 things. They might be improving to stay or improving to downsize to sell, okay? But something's going on in their life. So every time that email address gets hit on or found on the internet, social media, lots of places, we're going to track it and we're going to score the consumer you have in your database on a ranking from 18 to 97. 97 clients that are 97, and we're going to tell you this because we're going to test these every night. Clients that are 81 and above are 79% assured of buying in the next 3 to 6 months. This stuff is powered by artificial intelligence. I frankly can't tell you how it works, and I run the company, okay? But I've seen this proof, okay? And on average, 7 to 8% of all the contacts you have are in that 81 and above range. But you don't know which ones. We're going to tell you, okay? So people who just got a lot of diplomas recently might be downsizing. Was there a death in the family, a divorce, dumpster, daily grind, diapers? We can tell our scoring is partly derivative from people who are taking prenatal vitamins. Now, what does that tell you? Okay? We pick up on that stuff. And of course, we come back with a scoring, and your scores change every couple of days. So we're always getting you the best possible intelligence on your database. No one has a system like this in the industry. And when Nick saw this, he said, I simply want this for my agents, okay? Now, the only way you're going to be able to get this is if you have home actions, right? Because we already have your database, all your dashboard, everything is built. Okay. So Keller Williams agents can't get something like this, right? Because they don't even know this exists. So we're launching this at the end of April, into May. You guys will have it exclusively. Because remember, if you're a member of Home Actions, your database is already protected. You don't care if every agent in the world signs up for Home Actions after you get your database in, right? So if the database is all yours and we're using the artificial intelligence and the lead scoring system, we're only going to be using it on your database. So it behooves you to increase the size of your database between now and when we launch that thing. And we'll do that for you. Okay, so I'm going to email you guys an order form. And there's two ways to subscribe to our service. One is more expensive than the other. The discount that we have with Nick implies a quarterly plan by purchase of $175 per quarter. So $175 per quarter comes down to about $58 per month for a newsletter every 2 weeks, okay? 26 times a year. We're going to work with you to build that database, get that content going, custom graphics, everything that's needed to make a great first impression. And then every 2 weeks, we're making another impression, another impression. So you can go with the monthly plan. The monthly plan is $99, and then it's $62 per month. So if you do all the math, we're saving you about $80 to $100 over the monthly plan, okay? And you can cancel at any time. Monthly plan, cancel anytime. Quarterly plan, if you find out in month 12 you don't like this thing, you don't want to renew, that's okay. We won't bill you anymore, okay? So we're pretty honest when it comes to our pricing, and we think we've got a sweet spot here. I can't give this away for $15 a month. If you saw our customer service and our in-house engineering and database stuff, you'd say, you're right. Some things in life that are free aren't any good, okay? So this is the order form. I'm going to email everybody, and then let's open up some questions. Okay, we'll do it in text now. The quarterly plan, $195 normally, $175 today. So you're saving $20. There's your $80 right there. And then there's no setup fee on the quarterly or on the quarterly plan. Okay, monthly plan, quarterly plan. So let's open up some questions. Back to the chat room. And let's fire away. I've got all the time you guys want. Mary, any questions? Dawn, are you doing anything like this right now with your sphere of influence? Do you even have a sphere of influence? Mary, I'll ask you. I'll put you on the spot. Do you have a database of everyone you've met the last 5 years? First name, last name, and email address. Yes. Okay. You're married, then you're 1 out of 10. How about Dawn? Dawn, I'll ask you the same question. Now, Andy, I know your answer already because you're honest with me. Dawn, database of everybody you've known? Maybe like Andy, I don't have all their emails. Okay, well, we're going to get the ones you can. We're going to build that database starting this afternoon. I'm around this afternoon. Okay, when you woke up this morning, you may not have known what you were going to get into today. If you got some spare time on your hands because of the way the industry's going, let's build a pipeline. Let's get it nurtured. Let's get it protected. And let's get intelligence out of it. That's what I do, the 4 steps. Next question, please. Andy, Mary, Don, Bill. Okay, is anybody interested in talking with me in the next 25 minutes, half hour, 1 hour, if you can, about how to get this thing up and running? Here's how the process works. I'm currently signed up at Home Actions, but have not had the time to go through it. Okay, Mary, then let's go through it. We'll walk up with, I'll take you through your whole dashboard if you give me a call in about a half hour. Andy, what's your situation? Do you like what you're seeing? Do I put some time away this afternoon to work with you, or tonight? Still there, Andy? And Dawn, the same question for you. Do you want to work with me this afternoon to build this exclusive database on all the contacts we can get for you? Yes, I have an appointment at 1 o'clock. So that's 2 o'clock my time. Why don't you call me at 3 or 4? Mary, Dawn, we'll talk later on. I'll text you my number. Andy, I've been doing this snail mail. Should I discontinue that? I'm not prejudiced against or, you know, slanted against mail, but it's expensive. It's not consistently delivered, and it doesn't have the shelf life, believe it or not, that my e-newsletters do, because I'm going to get you multiple impressions on your Home Actions database, not the same kind of impressions you get on somebody getting a flyer, putting it in their mailbox, and they take it out for a day and throw it away. Okay. So I don't know how much you're spending, but probably $1 a piece to reach your people. We're down to what, 2 cents, 1 cent? Okay. So, and you know, you can't get the metrics on your paper-based newsletter than you can with us. Don't even think you can. Next question. Okay, Andy, I'll give you a call as soon as we're done with this this presentation here. Andy, can you give me your best number you want me to call you at? $790 6080. 612. Okay, any other questions? Don, is there something to help you with now? I'll call you after your appointments at 1, 2, 3 o'clock, 3:30, your time, whatever you can. Give me a call. I'm on the project 18 hours a day. Andy, I'm calling you soon off the phone. And then Mary, call me anytime you want after 12:30, 12:30, 1 o'clock. It's now 1 o'clock your time. No, it's noon your time, 1 o'clock my time. So I'll give you both. And then realize, hey, Mary and Don and Andy, if anybody else joins Home Actions, anybody else joins on the webinar that we have on Monday and mentions your name, you'll get an additional 2 free months. That's worth about, that's worth $100 right there. Okay. So we know that, you know, agents trust other agents. If you bring somebody in here, they join, they mention your name, boom, $100 worth of value gets put on your account. Let's see, please send me your phone number. I'll put that right here, 570-510-3507. Okay, there we go. Okay, that's somebody else from 612. How about that? Okay, so that's it, guys. Thank you for taking the time. Mary, we'll get you all set up and onboarded. Andy, you're in. Don, you're in. We'll talk later on. You got any questions up until that point? Just email me, call me, whatever. So, okay, we're shutting down, and I appreciate that. And again, if you tell anybody else about this, you're up $100. Thanks. Bye-bye.